Okay guys, are we ready? So my first step in handling the situation is I would take pictures of the issues. I would take pictures of the front, the back, wherever you're having issues. I would have photos. I would then send a letter to the tenant on letterhead. It would state, it would be a very pleasant tone letter, nothing nasty. I would use please and most helpful. It would help keep rats away. I would thank the tenant in advance for their cooperation. I, however, would not attach pictures. The pictures that I took, I would not attach that to the letter to the tenant, but I would state the issues as in overgrown bushes, uncut grass, overflowing trash. I would itemize those in writing. That letter, I would make sure that I send with a means of tracking. I would send a certified priority, whatever means you want to send it. Just make sure you have a way to track the letter. Now, even though we all can agree that the neighbor's attempt to lay the log on our lawn is most disturbing, I, however, would not bring it up in this particular letter. Guys, let me finish. Calm down. Are you done? Listen, we don't have to use everything that's in our arsenal. The fact that the owner has actual video that no, we did not watch, and no, we are not going to watch. But the owner has actual video of this taking place. So if things were to get really ugly, which it's highly unlikely that they will, we'll just keep that away. We'll keep it in our arsenal and pull it out only when we need it. No pun intended, I guess. So a few other things the letter wouldn't consist of. I would not include the name or address of the owner that I'm actually sending the letter on behalf of. Sometimes people can figure that out on their own. They'll see a for-rent sign in your yard or window and they may assume that it's you. But my letter would not include that information. I would also not include deadlines to the neighbor. This neighbor is not my tenant. I have no lease to refer to, so I can't say your lease says XYZ, so you should not do ABC. Won't do that. I can't do that, actually. And most importantly, and especially if there's anybody out there that's going to do a DIY on this, you don't need a property manager to do what I'm telling you. I would not include a condescending tone. If I want any type of cooperation, I would definitely avoid condescending talk. I would avoid tough talk. Things like, if you don't, stay away from that if you want cooperation. And I would also not include threats. If you don't do XYZ, I'm going to contact XYZ. So tough talk and threats, definitely avoid. Unless you know how to fight, then you can do whatever you want to do. Just my suggestion. So our nice, pleasant letter is sent off to the tenant. Remember, we sent it certified with some type of tracking. So we are, of course, going to keep track of when it is received. Just because it's received doesn't mean it's been read. So to be fair, we are going to give it 10 days, not 10 business days, 10 days to see some type of action or progress going on at that house, some type of cleaning up. Not 10 days to see it 100% remedied, but we want to at least see some type of progress towards what we need done. And that's everything cleaned up and for it not to be repeated. So it's been 10 days since the neighbor received the certified letter. We see no progress, absolutely nothing happening at the house. Then we will go to step 2. So if you haven't done so already, you should look up the owner of the property. Every city, state, town has one. It's the tax collector, the property appraiser, taxation and assessment, the county clerk, whatever it is, your town has one. You will go to that website, put in the address of the neighbor's home, and it will bring up the owner. Once I have the owner's name and address, I am going to implement step 2. Step 2, I am going to mail a letter to the owner. This time, I am going to, of course, still use a pleasant tone, but I am going to mention to the owner that I've tried to reach out to their tenant. I am going to attach a letter, the same letter that I sent to the tenant, I'm going to attach to the owner's letter. And I am also going to attach the photos that I took of the front, back of the property or any issues that I have. We, of course, are going to ask the owner for some type of action. That is to please reach out to your tenant. Please reach out to the property manager. Or by all means, please reach out to me. And of course, you guessed it, we are going to add tracking, whether it's certified or priority, you are going to add tracking to this letter. Of course, the goal is to get the owner's attention. We want to know, hello, Mr. or Mrs. Owner, are you aware that this is taking place at your property? 9 times out of 10 with an out-of-state owner, they have no idea what's going on. They hire a local property management company, as they should. However, they never check up on the company to see if they're doing what they said that they would do. All companies are not like that. I'm not saying that by any means, but it is important for out-of-state owners who have local property management companies. You should check up on the companies to make sure that your property is not the neighborhood or town nuisance. You shouldn't find out about it once you get a letter from the county or the city. We've mailed our certified letter off to the owner. We are going to keep up with the tracking, same way we did with the letter to the neighbor. Once we notice that the letter has been received, read or unread, once we've noticed that it has been received, we are going to give it 7 days. 7 days from the time that it was received to see some type of response to our action request. That means if he's reached out to the tenant or the property manager, we should begin to see some type of cleaning up. Not 100% remedied, but definitely a full-fledged effort on cleaning it up. Or the owner could have reached out to you and said, I really apologize. Thank you for letting me know. It will be handled. We want some type of response to our letter within 7 days. Within 7 days from the time that we know the letter was received by the owner. In the rare instance that step 1, sending a letter to the neighbor, or step 2, sending a letter to the owner does not work, in the rare case that this does not work, you would at this point move on to step 3. Hold on. We have a few security deposits coming in. Let's see. We have a $100 security deposit coming in from @MyDad'sALawyer. Thank you. Good to see you, Maya. I still think the owner should know about the log. Hey, I totally get it. I just think the first round we should maybe hold the log in the arsenal. And who knows, everything may get done with step 1 and step 2. But if the owner turns out to be nasty, or if the neighbor turns out to be nasty, then maybe we'll whip the log out and weaponize it. But for now, I would just leave it in the arsenal for the first go round, just to try and get some type of cooperation. But I totally get it. My dad's a lawyer, and thank you so much for the $100 security deposit. Okay, we have a double security deposit of $200 coming in from @Oscar's Rentals. Thank you. My tenant's rent is $70 on a $1,500 apartment. She is always a month behind. She may not be pooping on the lawn, but she is pooping on me. Well, @Oscar's Rentals, we are sorry to hear that you feel that way. Even if your tenant is $70 behind, you should be able to file a failure to pay rent. However, once you realize it's cost you more than $70 plus your time to file on that $70, you may go ahead and cozy up to the arrangement that your tenant has made with you, which is $70 plus the late fee, and that will keep a roof over her head. Some landlords out there would beg for a tenant to only be a month behind. Not saying that that makes anything right, but I hope that guaranteed $1,430 you're collecting will ease the blow. Thank you so much for the $200 double security deposit @Oscar's Rentals. Okay, guys, we have one more security deposit coming in of $100 at Not a Slumlord LLC. Thank you so much. All utilities are included in the rent. Should I shut off the electricity if the tenant doesn't pay? Okay, this is actually funny. And the only funny part about it is you said, should I? Not can I, not could I, should I shut it off? As if I'm going to say, hell yeah, shut those lights off. Listen, I don't give legal advice, never will, never have. But as a longtime property manager, I would say that if you have included the utilities in the rent, it is now rent, which means if it's not paid, you should file for a failure to pay rent. But I'll say this, don't listen to me. If you caught part 1 of this Q&A, you would know how we 100% promote having a lease that is properly prepared by a licensed real estate attorney, preferably in the state where your property is located. So with that, my opinion, and I would suggest, no, don't ever shut off the tenants' utilities because they didn't pay. But thank you so much for the $100 security deposit at Not a Slumlord LLC. Okay, guys, so we are down to step 3. In the rare instance that step 1 and step 2 does not work, you can always move to step 3. And step 3 is you would contact your city or county, whoever you can put in those complaints to. Sometimes it's linked with the people that control your utilities or water bill, but every city or county has a main number. You could simply go online. You may have to call, or they may have a way for you to input it online, but you can put your complaint in. Sometimes you have to do it multiple times, but you can put your complaint into the city, especially when it's trash and things of an environmental issue. That is an aggressive way to handle the situation when step 1 or step 2 does not work, which is extremely rare. Those are the 3 steps that Maya would take if she managed your property. Step 1, I would send a letter to the neighbor. Step 2, I would send a letter to the owner. And step 3, I would contact the city or county with my complaint. So I do thank you all for sticking around to the end of this video. It was a bit longer than I wanted to. Can we get some jingly snow for the people who made it to the end of the video? Okay, guys, before we cut out, a couple things I want to remind you of. We have an episode coming up that you do not want to miss. It's called The First 365. It is the top 5 steps when taking over a troubled apartment complex. You don't want to miss it. It is dedicated to the property managers that are on site and on the front line. I got you. Don't worry. We'll also have an exclusive interview coming up with a private landlord that got 1 year probation for laying hands on the tenant. Honey, you don't want to miss that one. But thank you so much, guys, for sticking around. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.